Hello, I'm Doug, and today I'm going to be watching a video that's been uploaded by Tomi Lahren. I can't pronounce the name that well. I've posted about her before on Facebook, and I've always spoke well of her. I've always thought she was a good go-getter kind of a girl. She's very ballsy. I like that. She has very clear boundaries. She knows what she likes and what she doesn't. So let's have a look at the video, because it seems to be going a bit viral and causing a bit of interest. So let's have a look at it.
So normally I do final thoughts and I do Instagram lives and I do rants about politics. There's plenty to talk about in politics right now. Do it every day. It's a great time. But something as of recently has been on my mind, and I consider myself a teacher, a helper, someone who could possibly inspire people to be better.
A teacher, a helper, somebody that could inspire people to be better. Now, I always get a bit suspicious about people that say those kinds of things, because you have to have accomplished something specifically in order to be able to teach it to help somebody do something. So whatever advice it is that she's giving, it would be good if she's achieved it in her own life.
So with that being said, this is a PSA for all the men out there and all the boys who think they're men, but they're actually boys. This is going to be the summer of canceling boys. Now, from my own personal experiences and the experiences of all of my friends, which range in age from 24 to 36, we've all got issues. Now, I will also say this. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. And you have to start looking at that and thinking, if an age range of that many people, including myself, living really all over the country and being blonde, brunette, short hair, long hair, tan, super white, super pale. These women range in every body type and everything. They're all successful, they're all intelligent, they're all good people. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think, it might not be us. It might be you.
Okay, I can kind of get a vibe for where this is going. First of all, she's using the term of a collective, which is not just, you see, if it's okay if she comes on here and she speaks for herself. She says, look, this is my thoughts, this is my feelings, and I'm speaking on behalf of me. But what she's trying to do, she's trying to put a collectivist argument together by saying, it's not just me, it's all of my girlfriends, it's all of this, I represent this group of people, and I'd rather listen to the individuals in the group, her friends. I would rather go and listen to them. And they may say the same thing and they may agree with it, but I'd like to hear it from them. I think if you're going to be giving advice and this, that, the other, I think it's best if it comes from you and your experiences, and instead of speaking on behalf of other people. And she says they're all attractive, successful, and got something going on. And, well, attraction is kind of like in the eye of the beholder, isn't it, really? And, I'm not just talking physically, I'm talking in terms of, what attributes you like to look for in a partner. Some people like to be bossed around, other people don't. So it's, some people like arguments, some people don't. So it really depends on what you consider to be attractive. Successful in what? She's saying about cancelling boys and boys that think they're men and stuff. It's got a very condescending vibe to it. It sounds like she's probably been hurt somewhere along the line and she's just a bit pissed off about it and she's just letting a bit out, which is fine. But the thing about having issues, they've all got issues. Well, who doesn't? Who doesn't have issues in relationships? We kind of fumble through relationships. We're not really taught from an early age how to relate to one another, in the same way that we're not really taught from an early age how to manage money. And when I say we're not taught this, I mean like the public school system, and if you have, it really depends on who you're raised by. If you're raised to treat people a certain way at home and show a certain amount of respect, and if you're taught about finances at home, then you may have a better understanding as an adult about what is entailed to be successful in those areas. But with regards to having issues in relationships, I don't think that's primarily her friends and the rest of the world is excluded. I think all people in all heterosexual and homosexual relationships, both male and female, have issues. That's just the way it goes, which is why it's so lovely when you find somebody and you don't have issues with them and everything, you know, just goes lovely. It may not be that men is the issue. It may just be that relationships are tough.
It might be men. It might be men. Now, I've often talked about the pussification of America and how men are no longer men. I talk to my mom about this a lot, and she says, well, maybe it's just the guys in Texas. Maybe it's just the guys in Los Angeles. Maybe it's just the guys. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country in the age range of about 20 to I think about 55, maybe even 60. A lot of men are trash. A lot of men don't know how to treat women. A lot of men don't know how to really, quite frankly, pull their heads out of the sand and pay attention. So
that's interesting. She said a few things there. She's talking about the pussification of men. I assume how men have kind of become pussies, and I agree with her. It started with the feminism, but then it manifested itself into political correctness. And, you know, if you're going to put women into the workplace and men can't behave their way they naturally would in a group full of other men, then that's going to change the whole social dynamics of the workplace. She's talking about trash men, and she's saying how a lot of men, which is nice, because just all you have to do is just don't go out with those men that you consider to be trash and go out with the ones that aren't trash. And if you're saying that the age range of trash men that don't know how to treat women is between 20 and 60, well, go out with a 19-year-old or go out with a 61-year-old. Ta-da! Just go out with the people that you like and the people that you're attracted to and the people that do pay you quality attention instead of the ones that don't. Simple. Have standards, that's good. So far, I don't see a problem. So yeah, a lot of men are pussies and they're trash men. Cool. Well, don't go out with those men then. Go out with the other ones.
So I am going to help you. And these are some of the things that I've experienced, and these are some of the things my friends have experienced. I'm just going to lay a few things out. They haven't all happened to me. Some of them have just happened to my friends. A lot of them have happened to me.
And this is where it's like, oh, so I'm going to help you. But are they asking for help? And if they are, that's okay. And if you have done what they're looking to do, which is, say, for example, pick up girls. If Tomi's picked up girls before, then she should teach on that. But if Tomi's heterosexual and she's never picked up a girl, then she probably doesn't have anything to say about that would be helpful. You know, if I wanted to catch fish, I'd go and speak to a trained fisherman who's good at catching fish. I wouldn't go and speak to the fish. What's the fish going to do? Give you advice on how to catch it? Come on.
So, the first thing, and I've made notes, by the way. I've made notes. This is how invested I am in this, because I've been thinking about this for about 2 weeks solid now.
Okay, well, Tomi, I'm making notes of your notes, and I've made other notes, because I've been invested for this since I wanted to get laid. Yeah, let's move on.
First question for men. If you like a girl, if you're even somewhat interested in a girl, you need to ask yourself this question. Are you single? No, I don't mean are you kind of single, seeing 5 people, dating somebody, still kind of in a relationship, kind of broken up, kind of on again, off again, kind of married, kind of divorced. Are you actually single? That means single. You have nobody. You have no complications. You have no attachments. You are actually single. That is the first question, believe it or not, that needs to be asked. And ladies, you should be asking it, because in 2020, it's not a given anymore that a guy that's actively pursuing you is actually single.
Single. No complications, no attachments. Well, how is somebody possibly meant to do that? Let's say if I'm a guy or a girl, it doesn't really matter. And I think, oh, I'm single now and I'm going to go on a dating app. And I sign up to, let's say, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Happen, and there's various types of different dating apps. I might do a bit of speed dating, which would be a bit difficult in the old coronavirus era. But let's say I put myself out there, so to speak, and I'm kind of testing the water. I'm going on a few dates a week, or maybe a couple of dates a day, and I'm meeting various different people, and various different things are happening. Am I single? Technically I'm single, but really I'm not single, am I? Because I'm meeting several people at once. So, because I'm kind of like interviewing people to see who would be a nice person to have a relationship with. So defining yourself as single can be difficult if you're dating, which is what you're most likely to be doing when you first meet somebody. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but there's always been an asymmetry in which the way that sexual distribution has been run, not by the guy himself, but just by nature. Like, women tend to all be attracted to the same couple of guys, and they're not attracted to the rest of guys. So that leaves a huge amount of men that women just don't find attractive. So there's an asymmetry in the way in which women sexually select men. So the couple of men that she's talking about that she might be interested in might also be seeing other women because they have other options. Whereas there's a huge load of men that she's probably not interested in that will more than happily go with her and just what she's looking for. But because she doesn't feel attraction towards those men, she's not going to pay those men attention. So, you know, success breeds success, and more goes to those that have. It's the Matthew principle or the Pareto distribution. It's sort of like the more that you have, the more that you can easily get, and the more that is taken away, the less that you end up with. So if she's attracted to a high status guy, which I'm sure that she will be, then other women are going to be attracted to that high status guy. So it's just price is law. So the best way to control that is to go out with somebody that you're not attracted to. Ta-da! And the other thing as well is I'd say that it's not about being single, it's about being honest. So if you turn up on a date and say, look, I'm with my wife at the moment, I'm going through a divorce, but, you know, I'm technically still married, but, you know, we've been separated for like 2 years or whatever it is. So, or if you're in another situation where you're a single guy and you're just going around just seeing what's out there, just say, look, I'm just single at the moment, this is my situation. And if you're widowed, for example, and, you know, you're still missing your ex, you know, and it was an unexpected death or tragedy or something, and you're still emotionally heartbroken to some extent, but you're trying to get on with your life, and now you're dating, you know, you may be single, but your heart's still with another person in some ways. It isn't always clear cut. And these terms of single and not single, people are a lot more complicated than these little boxes that you like to put them in. I've noticed that people tend to do this, is that they say, I'm single, I'm seeing someone, I'm seeing someone but we're not exclusive, I'm seeing someone but we're not exclusive but we're unofficial, official and exclusive, guys, you're either seeing somebody or you're not. You're either having sex with somebody or you're not. And you're either having sex with one person and other people or you're not. And that's it.
So that's the first thing. The second thing that I think is very important that men don't seem to understand. There are very few women out there, and I'm speaking from personal experience as well as from all of my friends and all the women, quite frankly, that I talk to. There is not a woman out there that wants to be your pen pal. She doesn't want to get your texts, your good morning texts, your good night texts, your random through the day texts, if they don't follow up with a plan to actually, here's the kicker, in person, hang out. Now, I know what you're saying, oh, it's COVID, people can't hang out in person. This has not been a 4-month problem. This has been a 5-year problem that I've experienced with men and my friends have experienced with men. Women do not want a pen pal. We don't want a texting pal. We quite frankly don't care if you text us all day or if you don't text us at all. If you're not going to make a plan to actually see us in person, not interested. And if you do have a woman out there that just wants to be your pen pal, it's probably because she has a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or whatever.
Yeah, I totally 100% agree with her. I think this is a problem more to do with technology than it is with men. Because the technology has kind of replaced good quality human interaction, and women do this as well. You know, if you text a girl, you know, that you match with on Tinder or whatever and say, oh, let's meet up, they go, what, already? You don't want to get to know about me? Well, I get to know about you by meeting up with you. So again, like she's saying, if they're kind of putting it off, they probably still have a boyfriend, or they're a bit afraid about meeting somebody on the internet that they don't know, or something like that. There's some fear or apprehension, or they're just playing the game and they're not really interested in meeting someone. You know, because ordinarily two people would meet in a bar or in some public setting or at work, or there'd be a pre-arranged marriage. So there wasn't the technology in between the interaction. So I don't think that's, I think she's right, but I don't think it's a problem of men. I just think it's a problem of the modern age and the way in which we communicate with each other.
We don't want a pen pal. But that also leads me to my second point. This is gonna be backwards for you guys. Make plans. Make a plan. Do not assume that you can text somebody randomly in the middle of the day, what are you doing? Or text them at midnight or 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or even just within hours of when you actually want to see them and think that they're going to be available. I personally, once I get home and I take my makeup off and I'm watching TV, I'm no longer interested. So if you didn't make a plan earlier in the day, or better yet, a day or 2 or 3 in advance, I'm not interested. I don't want to hang out anymore because that ship has sailed. Make a plan.
Now this is interesting, isn't it? Because she's saying make a plan, whereas a lot of women complain that, oh, you're not spontaneous enough, it's too predictable, I know what's what. So this is to do with the dual mating strategy. For the guy that she's going to settle down with and have a baby with and all, she wants to have it planned. For the guy that she's genuinely attracted to, that she'd bend over backwards for, she wants to be spontaneous. So the brain is separated into 2 hemispheres, and so one side of her brain will be saying one thing and the other side saying another one, because they're 2 completely different personalities. So yeah, on the one hand she does want a plan, but on the other hand she wants to scrap the plan and tear it all up. That's the whole kind of passion of it. That's the whole idea of falling in love and being romantic and doing things off the cuff. And also, if you really desire somebody, you don't care about plans. You find a way around that. So it really depends on the individual and the emotions that you're feeling at the time. It's not, it's not all logical and binary as like she's making relationships out to be. So far, I'd kind of agree with her on those couple of things. Don't be a pen pal. Don't spend all day texting if you're meeting somebody online, and make a plan, arrange to meet up, see when they're free. So although she's been very negative and she's probably a bit peeved off by the looks of it, those 2 points I actually do agree with.
I want to hang out with you at this time. It doesn't have to even be a date. I want to see you at this time. Are you free at this time? Or when are you free? I will accommodate my schedule to see you. When are you free? I want to see you. I want to see you.
I think that's a bit much. I just do it basically, well, when are you free? And then they'll give me a couple of dates and same as you would do anything else. Like if you're booking an appointment, to go around and do somebody's plumbing. It's the same thing. You just sort of like, and this is why if you run a business, dating is pretty much the same thing. And that's not to be cold about it, that's just to be practical about it. You gauge interest with people that are interested in what you have to offer in the market. You arrange to meet up, you see if you're compatible with one another, and if you are, you move forward together. That's and you're always booking and rearranging bookings and all that kind of stuff in a business. And the same thing in a relationship. So, I'm going to be here this day, I can't that day or this day. You just rearrange it, it's not a problem. Same as if you would do with your friends. So yeah, so this is just having a conversation.
I know it's not rocket science, but men of 2020, it seems like it's pretty difficult for you to figure out. And I'm not a feminist, so please don't take this as a feminist rant. I love men. I think men are great.
She loves men, she thinks they're great, and by the sounds of it, old men have failed themselves. But how can you say that you love men and you're calling them trash men? I mean, is it the same man? Is it the same group? This is the problem when you speak about the collective. Sort of like, which ones? We'll just go with the ones that you do love that aren't trash men. What's your problem? I still don't understand what the problem is here. This girl seems like she's had a harsh breakup and she's going out and she's having a rant about men, which is fair enough. I don't mind that. And I don't take it personally. So it's, she's obviously in not a very good place, bless her. But if I'm wrong and she's actually in a healthy, happy relationship and they're planning on getting married or having kids or whatever it is that, she's looking at creating for her life, if she's in that place and she's still coming and making this video with this kind of harsh tone and condescending, arrogant, kind of rude way, then I'd be very surprised, because she seems like she's gone through a harsh breakup. But if she's actually in a happy relationship, I'd be at the moment, I'd be very surprised, because if she was in a happy relationship, she'd be coming from a more nurturing, nice kind of advice place.
I think men have failed themselves and they've failed us, and I'm just trying to help you out, because I think there are a lot of really great guys out there who need a little help, and I don't think that there are a lot of women that are stepping up and saying these things and not.
Again, I agree with her. I think there's a lot of guys that need a lot of help, and they're not going to get help from women, because women are competing amongst each other, and they're not going to get help from men because men are competing against each other for women. So you're pretty much on your own when it comes to the old dating scene. Unless you've got a mate that you really trust that wouldn't do you over, then you might be able to get some help. But really, it's every person for himself in the old dating scene.
I swear to God. FaceTime me, I swear to God. Quite frankly, I don't think that there are a lot of women that aren't raging feminists, that don't look like Lena Dunham. They're saying these things to you. So I'm going to go ahead and say them because they need to be said. I am really so sick of my friends having to deal with trash men. I am tired of dealing with trash men. I'm going to deal with trash men. I am tired of dealing with trash men.
And I think that's the greater issue. She's fed up of having to deal with trash men. I think if she was in a happy relationship and all her other friends that who are amazing and attractive and successful had trash men, she wouldn't be as fussed. She'd be like, "Oh, sorry to hear that." But because this is happening to her now she's
So I'm going to help
getting a bit wounded by it. Now she's getting a bit pissed off by it.
you out. So I'm going to help you out. Make plans. So let's go through these lists again, because I know y'all love a list. Number 1, are you single? Number 2, make a plan. Nobody wants a pen pal. We want to actually see you. If not, don't text us, because it's a waste of our time and we don't want to see it on our phones. Got it? All right. Next thing. Value. Okay? Value. Take that in. Just repeat it to yourself until it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, and you'd have to repeat it a lot till it makes sense, because value is a very broad term. It's not very specific.
If you want to date a girl that has nothing going on, then that's fine. But please do not mix in people like me and my friends who have something going on with your other girls that have nothing going on. And by nothing going on, I mean this. There is no job that is unimportant. There is no job that's not valuable or that's not worthy. It is. But if you want to mix in people like me and people like my friends who are go-getters, who work really hard, who make their own money, who are talented, skilled, ambitious, please don't mix us in with the Tatianas. We don't want to be there. If that's what you want, find them. Please, for the love of God, do not mix us in with them, because we don't want to be there.
Well, now she's just excluded herself. She's just excluded herself from... So let's say if you had a high quality guy that was the age that she would like and the height that she would like and all the other specifications that she has. Let's take her dream guy. I thought she said she wanted someone that was single earlier. So why would he be seeing other people if you're after somebody that's single? It doesn't make sense. So anyway, another thing that she's saying is a job, work, money. What's that got to do with a relationship? Talented, skillful, ambitious. I as a man, I don't judge a woman on those things. A woman might judge a man on those things because they're looking for high status men. But I don't care if a woman's high status or not, because I'm not judging on that. I'm judging on the fact if I'm attracted to them or not. I'm judging them based on how they treat me. I'm judging on the fact if they're a nice person. I'm judging on the fact that, can I trust this person? Are they honest with me? Are they being respectful? I'm kind of judging on kind of like how people treat each other, not on all these external factors. So, that just doesn't make sense to me. Why would I go out with somebody based on her career or how much money she earns? It doesn't make sense.
And quite frankly, we take it as an insult if we find out that you are also talking to 5 Tatianas who have nothing going on. People like me and my friends.
So she's now competing with other women. She's aware that she's competing with other women, and she's specifically talking about other women that don't have anything going on. If a guy likes you and he's into you, and a woman likes you and she's into you, you can work everything else out. It's not a problem. So again, I don't know a lot of what she's saying here. I don't know why she's being so competitive with other women in this part of the video.
are going to be insulted by that. And there's almost really no coming back from it. So if you want that kind of a girl, the kind of girl who's just kind of happy going through the motions of life, not really super ambitious, hasn't really found herself yet, doesn't really have a whole lot going on.
To be honest, and again, just by watching this video, based on this video, when she says, oh, if you just want a girl that's happy, well, yeah. I mean, I want a girl who's nice to be around, who's happy, go lucky, and she doesn't seem very happy. She seems very angry, bitter, upset, and distraught. And I mean, I suppose she's got nice blonde hair, but like, I'm looking at her and I find her really repulsive. And I don't mean that in a nasty way, even though repulsive is a nice word. Just her attitude. Look at her, it stinks. Why would you want to be around somebody like that? I just get rid of her. I'll go date somebody who's a bit more, got a smile on their face, asking how I am, and not setting down a load of rules about how, and dictate to people how they're supposed to act and behave. I imagine going out with her would be like living in a tyranny, by a dictatorship. It's not very sexy.
Other than she's pretty, please just go after them, and please do not mix us in. We don't want to be there. I promise you. So value.
Again, she's saying we, because she's using the collective. She's not saying her as an individual, because then she'd have to accept responsibility for what she's saying. She doesn't want to be lumped in with she doesn't want to be classed as the same person as a happy girl. It doesn't make sense what she's saying. She's not only angry towards men, she's angry to other women that aren't like her. There's a lot of tribal kind of attitudes going on here.
There's a lot of women out there that I know that are my good friends who have amazing jobs, who work really hard, but who can't seem to find a decent guy, even if they go up in age 5 to 10.
Well, let's just say all your friends are a replication of you. Well, you're just replicating the same problem because you've got the same problem. And this is the thing I think is an important note to make, is that look, she's obviously got a problem here, and that's fair enough. We all have problems, but it's her problem. It's nobody else's problem, but she's taking it out on other people.
To 15 years, because those guys all want to be with 21-year-olds who have nothing going on. It's very unfortunate. I don't think it's going to be fulfilling, but I would say to the men out there, try to maybe find a woman that you can talk to, communicate with, might actually have her shit together, might actually be ambitious and have something going on or want to have something going on.
It's unfortunate. I don't think you'd find it fulfilling. I mean, again, you're telling people what to find attractive. She's saying what to find attractive. Men, generally speaking, I mean, there's fetishes and stuff, so again, everybody's different. I'm sure you could find somebody that's into you. It's just a case of whether you'd be into him as well. But men, generally speaking, are attracted to young, fertile women that they can reproduce and have babies with. That's like me saying, all women should go out with shorter men that are broke, and they should be attracted to those guys. Who am I to say what women should be attracted to? Women tend to take guys who are across or up social dominance hierarchies, who are usually 4 to 5 inches taller than them, 4 to 5 years older than them. They have, they've got a deeper voice, bigger, stronger muscles. They have a preference for the type of men that they find attractive. Well, why can't men have a preference? And I'm sure there was a point in this girl's life at some point when she was the 21-year-old that was going around having fun and all that kind of stuff and taking advantage of her situation. And now it's starting to wear off, and age is kind of against her, and it's against all of us to some degree. Now she can see her opportunities diminishing, and the quality of opportunities that she has may be affected by that. So now she sees herself as, and this is where the feminism does come in, because it's older women essentially competing with younger women, because men want younger women, and women want older men who are competent, strong, rich, successful, blah, blah, blah. So, again, this is just the unfairness of nature. As women get older, they lose sexual market value, and as men get older, they increase in sexual market value. So life is unfair for young men, and life is unfair for older women. It's just the way the age thing works. There's a factor in sexual dynamics between the sexes. She's probably starting to go through an epiphany stage where she's kind of hitting 30, and she's thinking, I ain't got much time left to have a baby and settle down and have a family. And this is where I feel for women, because they've got to get their stuff together so quickly if they want a career and a family. It's very difficult to do both. You can do both, but it's very difficult. This is a huge problem. If you know, she's obviously a young, attractive, ambitious lady, and she's gone full pelt in her 20s into her career. Now she's looking to settle down. Well, the problem is, like, her career has kind of like taken over her life, and no matter how great your career is, I personally think that having a family is better. It's so much more natural. It's less artificial. The corporate industry and the corporate world, and it's kind of like the way that she's approaching relationships in a way, because that's how she knows how to act and behave. It's you know, everything has a price, and if you're going to spend all your life trying to build a career that nobody really cares about, who cares about her career? Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it would matter if she was a man and looking to attract a woman, but as a woman, if she has a highly successful career, so what?
Might actually be ambitious and have something going on or want to have something going on. I don't care what she does. She doesn't have to be on TV. She doesn't have to be a PhD. She doesn't have to be a television producer.
Exactly.
She doesn't have to own her own company. But be ambitious and have something going on.
No.
Those women out there are going to be a lot more fulfilling to you. You're actually going to enjoy your time.
No.
And if you actually might want a sustainable and healthy and stable relationship, that's probably the kind of girl you're going to need to find.
No, that's not true. No, I want somebody, and again, she can't tell me what I find desirable. How can she do that? It's crazy. Or any other guy. Again, I'm speaking for all my male friends. Do you know what I mean? It's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. I personally want, and again, every guy's different, so I'm not going to say all men, but I personally want somebody that's really nice. I want somebody that treats me well, with respect, that's honest with me so that I can trust her, that's happy in herself, likes who she is, that kind of thing. They're the kind of qualities. I'm not looking for somebody who's earning £100,000 a year or whatever wage she's on, in a corporate position, looking to make manager. Like, shut up. It wouldn't be more fulfilling. She can't tell me what I would find fulfilling in the same way that I can't tell her what she would find fulfilling. She might actually like girls, but I'm not going to sit here and say you should like girls. But she might prefer just having a girl, because she'd make a very good lesbian lover for some young girl. So maybe she should get herself a nice little girlfriend, and she'd be a great guy in the relationship. So she might, consider lesbianism, Tomi, because wouldn't she make a great lesbian, especially as she gets older? Those women out there are going to be a lot more fulfilling to you. You're actually going to enjoy your time. And if you actually might want a sustainable and healthy and stable relationship, that's probably the kind of girl you're going to need to find. Not the Tatianas who just want to look cute and post Instagram stories. Now, I love a good Instagram story. Y'all know I do. I love a good boomerang. I love a good whatever. But if that's all you do, men, if that's all she does, probably, Houston, we have a problem. Just gonna let you in on a little tip. What's the problem? The next thing on my list is that... What's the problem? You're the one with the problem. The next thing on my list is this: consistency. It really does not help me or my friends or any woman in general if you are really cool and you're really interested when you first start talking to them, and then give it 3, 4, 5 days, and all of a sudden you're not consistent anymore. You don't make plans, you don't really care, you kind of fade in and out, you're talking to 5 other Tatianas. Consistency is important. Now, if you want to be inconsistent and you want to ghost and you want to fall off the radar, that's fine, but I'm going to give you a pro tip. People like me and people like my friends, we aren't going to really give a shit after that. We don't really care. The F's have been given and we're kind of done. I'll tell you this from personal experience. Once I'm turned off, I am turned off and I don't care anymore.
Because at one point, I probably did care. At one point, my friends, they probably did care. They probably did like you because you expressed interest and maybe you were cool and maybe you were kind of fun to hang out with. But if you're not consistent and you fall off the radar, I give you maybe 1 to 2 chances to fix that because I'm a very direct communicator. Women, this is important. I will communicate to you. If your communication isn't great, I will let you know that. I will let you know that more effort is needed. But if you don't heed that warning and I have to warn you twice, I'm done at that point because I don't really care anymore. Now I'm done.
Right, okay. So, you're hooking up with guys that aren't that into you, basically. There's a film called He's Just Not That Into You. If a guy's into you, he's going to be consistent. He's going to want to communicate. But like I say, we're 10 minutes into this video. If we were on a first date and she was giving me this full-on lecture the first time we met, I don't think I'd just be out the door. I just said, can we just get to know each other? I wouldn't be able to sit around this. I can understand why men aren't consistent with her, because nobody wants to be spoken to in this way. Who wants to be spoken to like this? Who wants to be lectured on what's wrong with them and how to treat people? I just wouldn't tolerate it. I don't care how great a job is. You go and treat somebody who's not. I'll go and hang out with somebody who's nice to be with. Why would you want to be with somebody that's not nice to be with? And she's not nice to be with at the moment. And the other thing as well is if you're looking for marriage material, for better or for worse, till death do us part. So if you're just going to say, oh, I was into you and now I'm not, well, that's not consistent, is it? So again, a lot of this stuff, I think she should look at her own way in which she's treating people. She's asking for consistency without being consistent.
And I know my friends who are watching this are thinking and saying the same thing because we have these conversations on an almost daily basis.
You think that other people are thinking and saying the same things? Well, that's probably why they're your friends, because they're an echo chamber. You've got a cognitive bias, a cognitive distortion. You've got a cognitive distortion of reality. And then from that cognitive distortion, you're creating a cognitive bias. And then from that, you're associating with other people that share your bias. That's it. So your friends, it's just an externalization of you. So this we is really I. Once you turn me off, I don't care anymore. So again, that's not very consistent now, is it? But yet she's demanding consistency. Do you see what I'm saying?
They always come back. They always come back. But when you're ready to come back, I probably don't care anymore. So if you want to switch up, stay there.
Very consistent.
Pro tip. My last thing on my list is also very important. Don't be, excuse my language, don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. If you have then failed and you lost a woman of value like myself or my friends, and then we don't really care anymore.
She's her and her friends. Are they imaginary friends? I'm sure that they actually do exist in the real world, but again, I think they're just an externalization of her. Really, it's she's so arrogant and egotistical and narcissistic and condescending. I can't understand why she's having problems finding a guy that will want to be around her for more than 10 minutes.
Don't be a bitch. Don't be butthurt. You did it to yourself. Okay? And it's no longer my problem.
I think that would be great advice for herself.
Now, it's become a personal problem of yours. So don't be a bitch. And, by the way, if I'm no longer interested because your effort is shitty, that's not me being a bitch. That's not me being difficult. That's me having a standard in which I expect from people. I do have high standards and high expectations. My friends have high standards and high expectations. Do you want to know why? We've worked for those. Okay? We work hard.
Working hard, whatever the fuck that means, has nothing to do with if somebody finds you attractive or not or wants to spend time with you. She's got a great career, I'm sure, and well done you. And I'm sure you'll go to the grave very proud of all your achievements. I'm sure that you'll be on your deathbed and thinking, I'm so glad at all the time that I gave to that corporation for money that I know, if that makes you happy, that makes you happy. A lot of people doesn't make them happy. What makes them happy is family, friends, having close, personal, intimate relationships. So, and they go to the bed as who did I love, who loved me, what, and being grateful and what meant, kind of, having a successful career has got nothing to do with having a great personal, intimate relationship. So I don't know why she keeps cross-referencing the two, because they're not even in the same universe.
successful. We take care of ourselves. We try to look cute. We have a desire to be something more each day.
You try to look cute, but you're not actually being cute. You know, well, I like someone that's humble. Are you being humble? No. You know, she says that, you know, she's not a feminist, but she's behaving exactly like a feminist.
Okay? That's why we have the ability to be somewhat what you call difficult. It's not difficult. We just have a baseline standard. And if you can't meet that standard, that's okay.
Again, she's treating a relationship like a job interview. She's got the same attitude for an intimate relationship as like that a HR department would have. It's sort of like, you had your first warning, like we've wrote to you the first time. It's like, it's so official.
A lot of men cannot. But if you are one of those men out there, and I have them all over my DMs, sometimes I check them, and you guys are like, what would it take to be with someone like you? What would it take to be with your friend?
Well, to be someone like you, they probably mean someone that's hot. That's all they mean. You know, I'm sure that if you took somebody that didn't look like her and was kind of a large girl, short hair, like 60-year-old woman that was in her position, had the same job, had all the things that she says that, you know, men should find desirable, but they don't, in her career, if she was a high status woman, they wouldn't be hitting her up saying, oh, what would it take to get with a girl like you? They're doing it based on what you look like, because men are very visual, so it's got nothing to do with your career.
Friends, what are girls like you, what are they looking for? I laid them out for you very simply there. In order to have a shot with a girl like me, or girls like my friends, girls that are worth a damn, you don't really have to be Brad Pitt.
Girls that are worth a damn. You see the way that she's talking? She's so competitive with other women. And that's really off-putting, because she's obviously got low self-esteem. Now, she's got high confidence. She's like, boom, 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 I do this, I'm in control of my life. But her self-esteem, and I don't like using the word self-esteem because it's kind of a bit of a myth, but let's say her self-worth, like the way that she values herself, is kind of in the gutter. She's, you know, you can see that she's hurt and heartbroken and all this kind of stuff, and that she's very bitter and resentful here in this video, just by the way that she's coming across and what she's saying. And I hope she comes out of it, because I'm sure that she's a really nice person and she's just a bit bitter and frustrated at the moment.
You don't have to be famous. You don't even really have to make a lot of money or have a really fantastic job. You just have to be determined. You have to be in some way successful in that you want to attain some certain kind of success for yourself. You're driven. You have goals. You can handle a woman with standards.
So she's now giving you her criteria of what she's looking for after telling you what you should be looking for. And really, when you find the right person, all that stuff goes out the window. So
that's not going to turn you off, and you're going to put in the effort to be with somebody like myself or my friends. We deserve that, and we will not compromise our standards. I tell you this, it will be a cold day in hell when I chase a man. And I know that's the same thing for my friends as well. And if my friends are listening...
Alright, enough with the friends for now. It will be a cold day in hell before I chase a man. It's... So you expect a guy to do all this for you and give nothing in return. You're not going to meet somebody. I'm not going to chase a man. I'm not going to go towards something of value. The thing of value comes to me because I'm just so inherently valuable. The arrogance in this person is disgusting, and that's why men don't like her. She believes that she and her friends are better than everybody else. Men, women, animals. She's got a disgusting attitude, and the way that she's so condescending towards people is probably why people don't want to hang out with her. And the ones that do are just as shallow and vain and narcissist as she is. No offence to her friends, because again, I haven't heard them. But the great thing is, I don't have to hear what her friends say, because she speaks for them and she can read their minds. And she talks to them every day, so she's their representative, because she works from a collective.
And if my friends are listening and they're thinking about chasing a man, please, for the love of God, do not. Because there is not one single man on planet...
hang on a sec, I thought this was meant to be an advice for men. Now she's giving advice to women as well, because she's so good at relationships that she just feels like she needs to give all this advice. She's got such a successful, vibrant, great relationship going on herself. That's why she's being such a mentor, such a helper, such a kind teacher to others to help lift them up. No, she's at the bottom and she's dragging everyone else down, and that's not the way to be. If she's got all her shit together in her intimate relationships, put her career aside for a sec. If she's got a good family life and she's got a great boyfriend and she's got a great children and this, that, and she's trying to, look, here's some advice, I'm going to teach you how to do this and this is what you should do, then you should listen to her. But if she's at the bottom, where she seems to be, she's dragging everyone else down. So whenever you take advice or someone's trying to help you or teach you something, see where they're at in life, in the area that they're claiming to be an expert on, and see if that's what you want for yourself. If you want to end up a bitter and cynical person like this lady is here, then follow her advice. If you want to be as miserable as she is, then follow her advice.
That is worth making any woman feel like she is not good enough. I don't care how hot a girl is, how smart, how successful, how rich. We have all dealt with men who treat us like we are not good enough. No, the problem is we are...
No, you've sexually selected men that treat you that way. You see, the onus of responsibility is on her here. Look, she's made some bad life choices and she's ended up in some relationships where she's ended up being resentful. Well, take ownership of that. Be responsible. I thought she was meant to be a conservative anyway. You know, put down the collectivism and take up the individual responsibility. Think, hang on a minute, yeah, I've probably made some mistakes and I'm probably going to continue to make mistakes into the future. So, forgive myself and still look for a better quality relationship in spite of that. Instead of going out and telling everyone that they're not good enough and that, you know, the people make you feel as though you're not good enough. I think that's what it is that it's, like I said, this feeling of not being good enough. It feels like it's been bestowed upon her in some way, and now she's kind of trying to make everyone else, she's trying to elevate her own status to say, I am worth something, I have a career. She's hurt, bless her, and I hope she gets better soon. I hope she finds a nice guy that, you know, likes her and she likes in return, and they have nice babies together if that's what she wants, and gets married, but or whatever she wishes to have in life, I hope that she gets it.
And you can handle it. So, those are my checklists. Again, I will go through them for you one more time in case you are just tuning in. Number 1, are you single?
Right, that's enough of her. Right, so yeah, her rules, whatever they're going to be, I wouldn't really worry too much about them. She made a couple of good points. If you're dating online as a single guy, you know, don't be a pussy. Arrange to meet up so that you're not a pen pal, and make plans, kind of lead the relationship a little bit. Yeah, that's good general dating advice. You know, be a man about it. That's good. You know, be the leader. It's not about control. It's about leading the interaction and allowing somebody else to follow and inviting people. So you shouldn't say, you have to meet me for a drink. That's controlling. But to say, oh, would you like to come out for a drink? That's controlling the flow of the interaction. And that's inviting someone out is fine, because they can always say no or ignore you, or say yes, and you can go out and have a lovely date. So yeah, she's got a couple of good points in there, but it's not good. She's got a couple of good points, but they're not coming from a good place. And then the other half of points, or the majority of it, was just rubbish, and telling people what to think and how to feel, and saying that she represents other people and all that kind of stuff. It's all garbage. So bless her, she's hurt, she's in a bad place, she doesn't understand what's going on, and she's trying to get to a place and she's not sure how to get there. So she seems a bit frustrated that there hasn't been this kind of like knight in shining armour to just come and rescue her. Like, she seems a bit peeved off that people aren't matching up to her standards. Well, lower your expectations then. It's like, it's not the world's problem, it's her problem, and I hope she feels better soon. I hope she gets what she wants, and I hope she gets the life that she feels that she deserves, because then she might be a bit nicer to people.